So finally, all these COVID restrictions are finally getting lifted all around Canada. And then we're getting a bunch of reports out of the States as well that a bunch of kids are going back to school on the 8th, which is terrific news. And starting on Monday up here in Ontario, looks like the restrictions are dying a slow death, and it's about fucking time. Even though we're supposed to be short shipped, 500,000 vaccines, it really doesn't matter. And it's good to see. It's good to see that all this stuff is dying like an old person in a long-term care facility in upstate New York. Anyway, students in various regions of the province, including Ottawa and London, that's London and Ontario, not like currently, stage 4 lockdown London, have been given the green light to return to class for in-person learning. A news release from Ontario Education Minister Stephen Leachy, said Thursday, I'm sure he's traveled somewhere, on the advice of the Chief Medical Officer of Health, Joseph Goebbels, with the support of the local medical officers of health, and with the introduction of additional layers of protection, double bags, 280,000 students in 4 public health regions will return to class on Monday, February 1st. That's great news, because you've heard all of these anecdotes that kids are, lonely, missing their friends at school, obviously, and that, for the younger kids, handwriting can only be properly assessed when you're in the classroom. It's really tough to, write something out and then hold it up to the fucking screen in order to see if your teacher can properly correct stuff. And it's about time, okay? They've sacrificed a year of their time, and I can't even think of the waste of money and regret that some of the kids in, higher education and high school and in college or university, what kind of regret they're facing right now, having to spend it, just about a year, probably the better part of 3 semesters have just been thrown away or severely sacrificed due to online learning, which shows you the inflexibility of the current state of the curriculum, where you can pretty much learn anything that you want via apps and tools like Skillshare and the like. They can teach you something effectively, but regular university courses and the high school curriculum just can't conform to the different ways in which people learn. Something needs to be done about the educational system. I wonder if anybody's actually going to ever talk about that. And hey, over here in Alberta, we're just going to be a week later because reasons. I don't know why this can't take effect Monday, but yeah, this just dropped here earlier. Alberta will begin easing COVID-19 restrictions on restaurants and gyms February 8th. Yay, because you can't dine outside when it's 30 fucking below. It's the exact same kind of stuff. It's important we show Albertans there's a path forward, and this must be done carefully, slowly, and in a way that's not driven by opinions, but by data. Yeah, that's what cowards say. And as much as Jason Kenney has been trumpeting the Keystone XL pipeline, I still don't forget that he dropped these fucking restrictions at the beginning or middle of November. And it's only now some 10, 12 weeks later after it was only, just for a couple of weeks. And then it was all of a sudden, we're going to cancel Christmas. I don't forget about that. But because pretty much every major province, the ones that matter, I could give a fuck what the fishing restrictions are over in PEI. All I know is the mainland provinces, they're pretty much starting to open up. So what about for travel? Okay. Bipartisan group of lawmakers urged Biden to help ease Canadian travel ban. Yeah. So it's pretty much a two-way street right now. Canada doesn't want anybody going to the United States, and Biden has to be pointed in the right direction and told to the north is Canada and to the south is Mexico, and there's water on both sides. So this is becoming something that's going to be important, because if we have to sacrifice another summer, I'd say people would riot, but we've seen how much people will put up with. Bipartisan letters was sent to President Joe Biden by 2 upstate New York lawmakers calling on Biden administration to implement a plan for reopening the United States-Canada border for non-essential travel to ease the challenges of those living in border towns, which thrive on tourism. Okay, Representative Elise Stefaniak and Brian Higgins, who both serve as co-chairs of the Congressional Northern Border Caucus, sounds important, were encouraged by Biden's executive orders in which presidents authorized federal agencies to collaborate with Canadian and Mexican officials to develop a plan for cross-border travel. So it's already in the works. So what the fuck are you guys doing? Nothing, just justifying your position. As our nation works to emerge from this crisis, we respectfully request that you make a bilateral collaboration on safely reopening the United States-Canada land border and immediate priority. The two representatives wrote in their letter, yeah, it should be open by late spring, early summer. It's not of high priority because Justin Trudeau's already throwing on more restrictions because he's stupid and wants border towns on our side of the border to remain poor and broke because then they'll be happy because Great Reset. Trudeau enforces mandatory hotel quarantines for Canadian arrivals because we're still all the way back in early March of 2020, which I'm going to have to start adding the qualifier of the year. I cannot believe that. Justin Trudeau announced the mandate on Friday that travelers arriving from foreign countries must quarantine in hotels in an effort to curb the spread of coronavirus in the country. New arrivals will be required to pay for their own hotel lodging without support or subsidy from the Canadian government. Unless, of course, you work for the government and have a minister's position, then you'll just be welcomed right in with open arms, I'm sure about it. The Trudeau Liberals are also reportedly going to mandate that new arrivals receive a coronavirus test upon entering the country. Yes, so show me your papers, otherwise you get the swab-ups in those. Or if you're getting the new Chinese ones, up the ass. I'm not kidding. Adding to the existing requirement that they receive a test within 72 hours of flying to Canada. So if everybody has a negative test when they hop on the plane, you're going to need to produce another negative test to get off the plane. Is that what we're doing now? This is fucking wild. It's almost like they're just flying by the seat of their own pants. These measures come as Canada begins to see a spread of other, more infectious variants. We don't even know that they are infectious. We're just going to go with that. Of coronavirus from countries such as the United Kingdom. But what about the one from South Africa? Oh my God. The government already requires that inbound travelers quarantine for 14 days upon arrival, but not necessarily in hotels. What? Out in the fucking street? What are we talking about? Of course they're going to be in hotels. So this is just another instance of the Trudeau government just kind of dipping their greasy little fingers in the places that they don't need to be. And you know Justin Trudeau, he's an expert at that type of shit, of over-regulation and just making sure that everybody's taken care of out of an abundance of caution. Fuck him and fuck his rules. Can't wait for this to be over and done with. And I also can't wait to cover the upcoming election, which is being rumored about. But hopefully there's some people with spines in this country who can figure out that Justin Trudeau's path forward is not the one that we need for the next 4 years, because there's an opportunity here. Just need to convince enough people out east that that moron doesn't have your best interest in mind. So yeah, that's the Canadian update, and it's been a minute since we got a chance to talk about Canada. It's been a lot about stonks and insurrections lately. One of those things I like, and the other one is, oh, what am I kidding? Something that I appreciate. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.